We note all your calls, whether they're answered personally or left on our answer phones, and we try when possible to answer queries from your letters. Now, one lady who phoned in recently was Tracy Robertson, who lives in Dagenham, and she is hopefully on the phone now. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning.
What was your question then to Open Air?
Well, I was wondering what the man behind the globe looked like, the man who does all the links between the programmes.
Well, do you know, I haven't a clue either, and by absolute magic, we just happen to have the globe in front of us. So, can we cut now to the globe and to the voice behind it? Is anybody there?
Yes, they are indeed.
And who have we got?
It's Richard Straker.
Richard!
Good morning to you. And Tracy.
Good morning.
Richard, you're... I can't believe it.
Why? What's wrong?
You've got a very, very young voice, I thought.
Oh, flattery will get you absolutely everywhere.
That's a sort of backhanded compliment, isn't it? Not to suggest that you look old, but we never see you. Does it annoy you?
No, it doesn't annoy me at all. In fact, the BBC may very well have to get a new camera after showing me this time. I can do so much more with all this equipment if you don't see me. I can panic, for instance, before I operate this fader here and fade me up.
Yes, let's ask Tracy. Would you like to ask him some questions?
Yes, I wondered, when you do the links between the programmes, are they all live or do you record them all at once?
Oh, no, we're live all the time. After all, we couldn't, heaven forbid, should this programme come out, as we say, too early, we couldn't record a link for that yesterday. You won't come out, will you, Patti?
No, not at all.
Good. So I can't record it the day before. I have to sit here all the time and wait and watch all the programmes behave themselves.
You're looking very smart today. Are you always dressed as smartly?
Oh, of course.
Because you're on show.
Oh, no. No, I'm always smart. No, we actually dress in a very relaxed fashion. We don't wear anything loud. I don't mean sort of bright stripes. I mean leather or nylon, which would rustle and that you would hear. But no, as long as you feel relaxed, notice no tie, allow the throat to operate.
Tracy, what do you think? Is it as you expected? The fact that
I really didn't know what to expect, to be quite honest.
No, because they do all their own vision mixing and things and cutting in backwards and forwards, don't you?
Oh, indeed, yes.
It's not just sitting there and talking. It's operating all the equipment as well, rather
Yes.
like a disc jockey.
Briefly explain that, can you, Richard, that you do actually have to do all the live linking, don't you? As if you're
yes.
cross between a director and a PA and all sorts of things.
That sort of thing. I don't know whether you can get a shot of this desk, but I counted there are a couple of hundred buttons and faders that we actually have to operate, and I can change things by pressing buttons. In fact, you saw the world. I actually did the mix a little while ago. There's the symbol, and there's me back again. I can actually show you a slide. That's your programme. Now, I would use that if you came out a little early, perhaps, but then I would talk about Tom O'Connor. That's
Excellent.
all being put up by me. Heaven forbid anything goes wrong. I do that. Better not hang on that too long.
Don't give me heart attacks,
No.
love. We have a knee-jerk reaction to talk when that happens.
Absolutely. Oh, yes.
And
yes.
has anything terrible happened to you? I mean, have you ever pressed the wrong button and ended up...
I've not actually pressed the wrong button. There's a very embarrassing time when, it wasn't very long ago, actually, about a year or so ago, when the longer wait, the longest wait you have is for the shortest line. And if you're doing a very short line after a film, then the sort of nerves build up and the adrenaline flows, and it's that law that acts that means you're going to mess it up. And that one line, it was about a line and a half, came out with all the syllables in a totally different order to that which they were written down on the script.
What was it?
Oh, I can't remember, and I probably couldn't repeat it. You know, it was totally unique at the time. That was very embarrassing.
Came out rather rude.
Well, I did it in such an, authoritative way that everybody believed me, even though it was double Dutch.
Great. Thank you, Tracy. Are you happy?
Yes. I just wanted to ask one more question. Philip Schofield on children's television seems to be very successful, and I just wondered if it was likely that the same format could be used for the rest of BBC television.
She could be your agent, couldn't she, Richard?
Yes. What do you charge? No, I think from what I said before, we would prefer to be out of vision simply because we can be so much more flexible. In an emergency, who knows what can happen? We can actually do it at the time rather than you watch us panicking, possibly throwing the Radio Times about and picking up a phone and saying, "Excuse me, what do I do?" Which you don't want to see, do you, really?
Tracy, I'm just about to panic. They're telling me to wind up. So, Tracy Robertson from Dagenham, thank you for that. If you've any questions you want us to answer, this is the programme to write to. One brief question for you. Do you do it with your shoes on, Richard?
Yes, I do it with
You
my
do?
shoes on. Yes,
Can
indeed,
you
yes.
now professionally take us into the next item, please?
Right, here is the BBC One symbol, and it is now time on BBC One to hand you over to Maplin's Holiday Camp, where we join Ted, Gladys, Spike and Peggy for today's rendition of Heidi Hi.
Well, if you're feeling